From the ego is the enemy to obstacle is the way and beyond, Ryan Holiday is back with another smash hit on Stoic living, galvanized with modern analysis of Stoic principles like I disclosed in my previous video about this book, link in the description. I can just about guarantee you that there are thousands of people below and maybe above age 30 who are very into an ancient Greek school of thought such as Stoicism, and it has dramatically impacted their lives all because of Ryan Holiday's introducing it to them. If you look up Stoicism, you will see a section about Stoic authors, and the only one of 4 who is not a straight up Stoic philosopher from the straight up Stoic period is Ryan Holiday. That's how popular he is. And for anyone who doesn't know, something tells me most of you might know a thing or two about Holiday, but Stoicism is an ancient Greek school of philosophy that taught that virtue is the highest good, and we are meant to be indifferent to the vicissitudes of fortune and to pleasure and pain. Stoic characters in TV shows and movies and books, they tended to be like total badasses, and obviously flawed, like all of us, but quite easy to look up to because we just look at them and we're like, damn, like I wish I were more like this person. It's a good person who never seems to be too swallowed up by like greed or evil or anything else like that to allow them to function. And well, I think you get my point. Let's talk about this new book, Discipline is Destiny. Everything from the chapters to what's so special about it, and what surprised me to what I liked and disliked about it, and more. By the way, just so you guys know, there are links in the description, affiliate links, and if you guys buy anything through those links, like maybe this book, then I get commission, which helps me build this channel and keep making these videos. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sam, and I want to make self-growth normal. Because people shouldn't have to look this information up. It should just be mainstream knowledge. If you agree, please make sure to smash that like button. In the beginning, he asks how wanting and immediately getting, like in today's age, has not gotten us all as far as we think, because we mistake liberty as license, which is really absurd to think about. It's not something that many people think about often. Holiday asks, what do we have to show for this? He began the beginning of the beginning section with the story of Lou Gehrig, who sounded like a grade 1 badass, because 1, the level of his badassness transcended letters, like grade A, into numbers, grade 1. Or I guess grade 12, because before you go into college or not college, like I did, I didn't go to college, that's the top grade level. His temperance was an interior force. His team came first to him before his health, and he wore his fame lightly. He once jammed his thumb into the ground, trying to get a ball out of it. I'm not entirely sure, why you would jam your thumb into the ground. Like, is the ground that hard that you can't just, like, I don't know, use something else? The way Holiday discussed how amazing Gehrig's work ethic was, it reminded me a little of Malcolm Gladwell. I know, right, everything on this channel reminds me of Malcolm Gladwell. But Holiday said that we are here for more than just simple pleasure in existence. We have been given incredible gifts by nature. We're an apex predator and a freakishly elite product of millions of years of evolution. So how do we choose to use that value? By letting those assets atrophy? Focusing on the exterior is what brings us greater interior temperament. Different things like attacking the dawn, keeping a clean desk, avoiding what's unnecessary, sweating small stuff, dressing for success. I love this one, the one with Angela Merkel, and looking nice and normal but not like super fancy, seeking discomfort, managing the load, practicing to practice more, just working, seeing what you're capable of. These are things many of us really need reminders of, not some stupid visceral Eric Thomas engulfed speech on which, but a motivational speech, practical and anecdotal, with an unusually level-headed demeanor. Part 2 is the inner domain, the temperament. He talks about things like patience and even freedom. Here's an example of him doing this. It's very seasoned and maybe not all that common perspectives, or maybe I'm just not reviewing these books all as often right now as I'd like to. Say no. Own it, because it's your life and your power. By seizing it, you become more powerful in fact than some of the most powerful people in the world who happen to be slaves to their calendars and ambitions and appetites. The conquerors who rule over enormous empires but are slaves to solicitations. The billionaires who fear missing out. The leaders always chasing the shiny new things. Who cares if you have achieved extraordinary things but are punished for it by having less freedom every day? It may feel like you're free because you're choosing, but if the answer is always yes, that's not much of a choice. Between Steve Jobs, James Mattis, Queen Elizabeth II, and Floyd Patterson, these are very modern examples of stoicism, like up to 20 or 30 years before today. He even discusses responses to anti-Semitism and racism, which was a little unexpected, I find, for a holiday book. But that one thing he said about microaggressions, I don't know, he might get some backlash for that. I don't know. The section about money, called Money is a Dangerous Tool, was also interesting, where he talked about people who had so much of it and spent that money like they had an infinite amount of it, only to stress themselves to the point where it's as if they'd be better off without having ever gotten it in the first place, having felt healthier and even living longer. Part 3 is the magisterial, the soul. This whole part is more focused on very, very far back historical events. But when Holiday told the story of Antoninus, the fourth of the 5 good emperors, it reminded me of something he was explaining about Marcus Aurelius, a guy who most people who know a thing or two about Stoicism probably think about as more of a notable figure than anything else. He was saying this on a Tim Ferriss podcast episode that's actually at the end of another one of his audiobooks, about how Marcus Aurelius had held the Roman Empire together during its pandemic, the Parthian War, and the Germanic Wars, and at the end of his life, he had become easily one of the most powerful people on earth. But the thing that really stands out about him is his character. There was a point where many people considered him to be a straight up god, and yet he wrote a book of thoughts he had over his time as ruler about how to just be a better person. Isn't that badass? I almost wonder what the world would be like if someone like him were still alive. But the best leaders at the time, they didn't want power because they didn't need it. They conquered their appetites and egos. They were kinder and calmer, stronger and more independent, but less corruptible. They're just overall more focused on what matters. But lastly, here's maybe a premature direction one, who I recommend the book to. I would recommend this book to anyone who's looking for a more reserved book about discipline. The thing is, it's easy to find these like hardcore ones about don't give up, always persist, never stop pushing. But this one is much more cerebral and focused on personal values and focuses than you'd probably expect, maybe even from a guy like Ryan Holiday. Quotes. In some ways, the habit is less important than what we're really quitting, which is the dependency. It's okay to move slowly so long as you don't stop. If you are not practicing, refining, or working somewhere, someone else is, and when you meet them, they will beat you or kill you. Patience is bitter, but its fruit is sweet. Just as days are made of mornings, lives are made of days. Frugality and generosity never seem to go together. Given absolute power, the first thing he did was give half of it away. It might be possible to punch a person who's that compassionate, but it's impossible to beat them. Direction 2. If you like this book, you might like Ego is the Enemy, also by Ryan Holiday, and Winning by Tim Grover. Discipline is Destiny by Ryan Holiday. There's a link in the description if you guys want to check it out and read the reviews. That and all the other books I mentioned in this video, if you want to check those out too. If there are any other books that you guys want me to check out and review, please let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know if you checked out this book and you liked it. But hey, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, because I don't get why people watch this far into my videos and they don't subscribe. But if you have subscribed and you want to turn it up just a notch and turn on that notification bell to get a notification whenever I drop new videos, that would mean the world to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. You can find me everywhere, and I will see you then.